Yo, SNA fans, I'm back here, and this is my first ever review of doing both AEW Collision and Rampage, and this is the first time Collision comes on before Rampage because usually Friday nights after SmackDown, like it's usually just the Rampage that comes on. But at the same time, when SmackDown was on, with SmackDown being on Fox, we had AEW Collision being on TNT tonight. And I'm going to start that off right here, right now. Recapping to start to finish, and this is the first time I'm gonna do two AEW shows at once, which is the captions called the SNA podcast, episode 130, the ultimate edition of the SNA podcast, which is the ultimate AEW Collision / Rampage review. Which I'm going to be talking about what exactly went down, which, watch it till the very end. It gets more and more interesting. And we're going to start off with and this is where we have, we start off with Christian Cage in an in-ring promo. Not an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. With Tony Schiavone's like, tomorrow night here at Full Gear, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne against the team of the Radar Superstar, Adam Copeland, Sting, and Darby Allin. We seen Nature Boy Ric Flair that he'll be here tomorrow night. But also tomorrow it'll be a four-way match around this program. Brian Cage, Commander and Trick Beretta and Penta and which the number one contender will get a TNT championship at AEW Rampage after Collision tonight. This is where Christian Cage is like, well, first of all, Los Angeles, the Forum Arena, everybody was booing him, if they were halfway booing Dominic Mysterio. This is where Christian Cage a town full of plastic, phony people. Fans were continuously to boo him because they do not like the insult like it was given to the city and the citizens. And this is where Christian Cage I'm gonna speak a little truth here while I'm on this interview. And he's like, now they're lucky for you, you. And then this is where he's and this is where Tony Schiavone tried to walk out because he grabbed on the microphone, but he's like, I had changed my mind. You hold on the microphone, it's your job anyways to hold it. Here's where he's and he's like, hold up to my mouth properly when I speak this. It's lucky for you guys. Tomorrow night at Full Gear, not only do I have to see Sting's last match in Los Angeles, fans are booing. It's very unfortunate because I believe that's Sting's home state for real. But you can see Sting last match ever and that's a guarantee. But for me, I was like, dude, whether if you get the win or not, I don't think it's gonna be a guarantee for you for ending this match at Full Gear. I think he's gonna win. He's gonna continue fighting until Revolution, and I think we will have that match against the Nature Boy. I don't think this is a spoiler. This is just my prediction, of what's gonna come, maybe. But anyway, this is where, and then we're gonna be getting sick and tired of looking at Sting and his stupid face paint. He's like, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing people bow down to him and call him an icon. An icon, really? Are you coming? I guess living off your past name and living off your paychecks from the last 15 years you see you as an icon, huh? Well, tomorrow night's thing, it's all going to be all over. And he's like, what's really interesting to me, though, what's going to happen to Darby Allin when he loses that mentor that he has of Sting. Hey, Darby, it's if you find yourself ever needing a little bit of brother and guidance, I think who to call. But for you, Tony, is he gonna be at ringside these guys tomorrow? Okay. Well, I'm gonna send you a message right now, Nature Boy. And that's a good thing that you're identical to the key like of the what he said, like when he compared Ric Flair, he said something about him saying he's a Christian Cage. The other good thing that you look identical. The, he's you look like the crypt keeper of the tales of the crypto, like. Yeah, because if you stick in our knows our business, the literal come to Jesus moment tomorrow night. I was like, was that a murder tip like to the poor legendary Nature Boy? Like, okay, this is another crime encounter of the night, but this goes to AEW. But anyways, he's like for Adam Copeland, like though, like Adam Copeland, which fans were chanting. He was like, and this is where Christian Cage went back on the microphone. Like, what you really came here to do is trying to steal my spotlight here in AEW. Like, and I'm not going to allow you to do that. And here's the thing, Adam. I am not the same person that I used to be back when we were a team. Like, I am Christian Cage. I am the patriarch of AEW. And then and that when you cuddle, like insulated and then taken care of because you were the golden boy. Like I was stuck in the trenches, scratching and clawing, and for every inch. I was like, you make a good point about that. Like, but you don't have to be like if you're the jealous friend of your brother / best friend. But he's like, you're gonna figure that out this Saturday at AEW Full Gear. Like I guarantee you this. And Beth, keep the girls up late. Keep Lyric and Root like this is where someone said something insulting. I couldn't I didn't really understand exactly what they said, but it distracted Christian Cage and it interrupted him for when he was trying to say like make sure you keep the kids get them really close to that television. Lyric and Ruby, their two daughters, because Adam, I guarantee you this, I am going to break your neck. I was like, you're really going to say that about your former best friend? Well, at least in kayfabe. You really going to be so cold to the rated R superstar? And that's where Tony Schiavone's like, and again, of that four-way match again tonight, winner gets to face you and get the title shot. Christian Cage's like, well, you see, is the TNT champion. It's pretty obvious that powers that be, obviously, worthy in the programming. Every step I take, like it doesn't matter who this guy I'm gonna face tonight. I'm actually beat. I could beat them all at four at the same time combined anyway, so it wouldn't make much of a difference. I was like, he may be right on that on one thing, but man, I'll say some just tell me maybe and just maybe he could lose that championship, but it'll probably be at the end. I mean, not the end, the beginning, sometime in January of 2024. And for that interview with Nick Wayne that I read earlier onto the Fightful article, I'm not sure entirely about it, but I think he would at first. But only just to, I think on my prediction, he'll only just to lose it. Christian Cage, it's okay, we get that title back. But this is where Nick Wayne's like, no, I guess I was wrong about you thinking of you being a perfect mentor for me. And then this is where he attacks him. And then he confirms his heel turn. He kicks him out of the friendship triangle between him and Luchasaurus. Between them and Luchasaurus, I should say. I'm right. But anyways, Christian Cage was like, and this is where the fans start chanting, "Prove it, prove it, prove it." When he made that threat to Adam Copeland, this was like, "I'm gonna prove it, all right." And he was like, just like my close personal friend James Harden said, and the fans are booing, you don't know him personally, you're not even in the same level as him. That's what the fans were like. I was like, who knows? He could know him, like Kawhi Leonard, like, but I'm not sure if they hang out that much. Like, the only reason why they probably know each other because of their popularity in basketball and pro wrestling, respectively, of course. But anyways, it was like we keep like just like my friend James Harden said, I don't work within the system. I am the system. This is where he leaves the arena. And this is where Miro comes out to face Daniel Garcia, of course, because he challenged him at this past Wednesday. This is where we saw Daniel Garcia did his little dance like this. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up again. Okay, back to the review. And this is where Miro did not give Daniel Garcia a chance. He tried to get him around his legs, which that was probably the most genius thing that Daniel Garcia has ever done in his pro wrestling career. But Miro was not allowing him. He hit him with a forward gut wrench suplex, landed back first right into the other side of the ring, into the bottom corner, which he rolled right to the left side. This is where he tried to grab onto Daniel Garcia, which he waited way too long enough because Daniel Garcia hitting right hand strikes right into the face of the Redeemer and the former God's favorite champion. This is where he hits. That's where he tosses him. This is where Miro tossed Daniel Garcia, started hitting half a dozen hammers to the guts from his right fist, and then turned it to a dozen stomps right onto the midsection and the head of Daniel Garcia. This is where the referee's like, all right, you made your point. Don't do any more. Like, he's down. This is where Miro was like, no, I'm not done yet until I show that nobody is in control of my hot and flexible life. Which I'm not going to get more into that because for two reasons, I would say mainly. But this is where he stomps on his legs. This is where he started kicking him. This is where he picks Daniel Garcia back up. And this is where Daniel Garcia's like, no, not in the face. And he gets whacked right into the shoulders with a clothesline. This is where Miro started walking around walking around what's his name's body, Daniel Garcia, until he was like, come on, raise your hands. Like, it may not be Rusev Day, but yeah, continue your support of me. And this is where he hits another gut wrench suplex right onto the left side, onto a back first, right into the canvas. This is where Miro said, this is easy as pie. And this was like, this is and he's like, and this is where Miro tried to mock Daniel Garcia by doing this dance. Fans were like, yes, they were absolutely overly hype of having Miro do that dance. But this is where who was it? Was it Tony Schiavone or somebody? Like, they were like, no, like, we do not want that dance. And he's like, huh? Like, these fans want that? Like, yeah, do it. This is where Daniel Garcia's like, how dare you try to take my dance and do it in vain? They start doing the chops right onto Miro's chest. I was like, Daniel, like, what have you not learned from other AEW wrestlers? Even though they haven't got murked by Gunther, at least not yet, but he's adding them to the envy list. So if you could do any of the wrestling fans a favor and not do it do the chops in that manner. But anyways, this is where he started hitting it loud repeatedly and hard. This is where he Irish whips Miro like right onto the top left corner, but Miro reversed the Irish whip and hit one of his own respectively. This is where he tried to go for a running attacking splash right onto the former Ring of Honor Pure Championship, but only get kicked right into the face. This is where Miro tried to go for another one, but he gets kicked again. This is where Daniel Garcia tried to go for punches and chops like if he was Jon Moxley. This is where he tried to Irish whip him right to the bottom right corner, but Miro hit Irish whip him to the opposite side, which was the left corner ropes, which he run right through. And this is where he tried to duck down, which is the most idiotic maneuver in all of pro wrestling. And this is where he gets kneed or kicked right into the head, right chrome dome. This is where he runs right on the other side of the ropes. He tried to go for the most most proven comeback move in all of sports entertainment / pro wrestling, the crossbody. Like this is where he gets countered and he gets hit with a power slamming standing uranagi, something that Miro used to do all the time, like when he debuted as Alexander Rusev, which I'm not sure if most of y'all remember him is the Alexander part of being Rusev, unless those hardcore fans do, which I believe they do so because plenty of people on YouTube talk about that. The most forgettable first or last names of a wrestler that's been shortened out. But anyway, this is where he took him on the outside. This is where he started hitting them towards multiple barricades until Daniel Garcia got back on his feet. This is where he started striking Miro with right hands, like back and forth with lefts and rights, mostly rights, and then started stomping on Miro's midsection. And he repeatedly squeezing onto the midsection, thinking that he could beat him and be the first ever person to beat him in 2023, which I don't think that's ever going to happen. Like, not even Powerhouse Hobbs could beat him. So if I'm not mistaken, I think that Powerhouse Hobbs didn't even beat him. But we're going to talk about him in just a moment. But for now, we see Daniel Garcia like hitting knee right into the midsection. This is where Irish whip Miro right onto the right side, but he hits him with a striking drop kick onto Miro. This is where Daniel Garcia was thinking, like, now's my chance. Like, I need to find a way to bring him down, and then it hits the dragon tamer, and this is where he tried to go for another knee strike right onto Miro in the midsection, but he managed to hang, still standing. He bounced right off the left side. This is where Daniel Garcia runs right to the top side, try to go for a running knee right onto him again. Third time wasn't the charm. He thought fourth time would be guaranteed, but he gets Moscow kicked by Miro. This is where Miro grabs him, hits him. This is where he tried to go for the camel clutch, but Daniel Garcia grabs onto his leg and looked like about to go for a dragon screw, but Miro trying to counter out of it, but he gets hit with an unexpected strike right onto Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia this is where Daniel Garcia tried to hit him with a ripcord right after Miro tried to go for a striking right hand. He tried to go for a ripcord, but he is hit with a right hand. This is where Miro's repeatedly doing that until he tried to go for that forwards roundhouse kick. This is where Daniel Garcia ducks, hits a chop right to the chest, hits a spinning back suplex, which he was trying to do earlier, but it failed to do so, which it was a guarantee. This is where Daniel Garcia was nearly at the finish line of being victorious. This is where but what distracted him was getting the upper hand, letting the upper hand get the better of him, and then this is where he started doing or should I say his dance move get the better of him, because he nearly did the dance move, but Matt Menard came into the match. He was like, "What the hell are you doing? I thought we talked over this. Like, use your head. Like, you don't need that dance to make you successful. You're already a damn star with or without the dance move. It's one thing that's making you famous off of, but you're already popular enough by showing how you can go inside the square circle. So you need to finish Miro off. Like, no disrespect, and Daniel Garcia will start not being happy. He was like, whatever. You may or may not be right. But I got to get back to this match. This is where Miro tried to go for a running clothesline to Daniel Garcia. He dodges him by 1.0 of a second, from getting hit. This is where he hits Matt Menard instead, and this is where Daniel Garcia goes for the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, which is the surprise roll-up, but it only got him the 2.7 count. This is where he tried to go for the crossface onto Miro. This is where Miro flips him right over him. This is where Daniel Garcia tried to go for that trying to go for a leg wheelbarrow, I should say, a leg barrel, I should say, a leg barrel flip, trying to go for the Dragon Tamer. But this is where when he had him onto the Dragon Tamer. But this is where Miro was like, no, I will never surrender. No, like, you could bend it back even more higher, but I'm not surrendering. Like, no, like, get off of me. This is where he tried to bend it. It was like similar to when he faced MJF a week from this past Wednesday. Like when he put the Dragon Tamer, he bent it right back, looking like if it was like a reverse version of the ankle lock. But this is where Miro took a page out of Brock Lesnar's playbook, slamming the back of the head and the back of Daniel Garcia right into the canvas, like what Brock Lesnar did to Brock Lesnar did to AJ Styles when he got the calf crusher on. This is where Miro's like, okay, he's finally down. All I need to clash. A game is over, Daniel. You'll never have my wife. And then this is where he hits the Moscow super kick right into the face. I'm not sure if I should call him Moscow because he's not from Moscow. Like, I think he's from Bulgaria. Yeah, I should say the Bulgaria super kick, or the Bulgarian super kick, my bad. He hits the camel clutch on his finishing maneuver, the camel clutch, or should I say the Beast of Bulgarian's clutch, I should say. Like he did it so he got locked in to the point he started bending Daniel Garcia's back like way too up in making his chest come up in the air, like up in midair, I should say, or quarter of the air, I should say. Like it looked like it should not be bend upwards like that at all whatsoever. But with Daniel Garcia be put to sleep with the clutch itself, it's where we got a backstage interview with Andrade, which I believe Lexi was interviewed saying like she was asking like if asking Andrade if you have CJ Perry as his manager, and they confirmed they easily confirmed that they confirmed that with a very confident yes, and then like, well, even though they said it like they referenced it, whether the name saying yes, they were like they confirmed that they are gonna that CJ Perry's gonna be his manager, and she's gonna be being in ringside into this, being in ringside in most of his matches, I should say. And then Lexi congratulates. I was like, I hope he's not seeing more than seeing CJ Perry is more than just his manager, because I don't think Miro's gonna like that. I just saying into this squared circles perspective. I'm just giving a warning out to Andrade in kayfabe perspective, of course. But I'm just giving him a warning, like Miro like did not want his wife of being a manager with any other man, but right now he does not want her as his manager. For some reason, I don't know why. It's kind of confusing. But yeah, I was thinking like, what is up with Andrade having a thing with blondies? Because we know a blondie that's in another company, which is Stanford based. But we're going to talk about that in just a moment. What do you think about the latest news of CJ Perry being Andrade's new manager? Sound off in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next slide, which is the House of Black taking on these new young, taking on the boys of, taking on these, taking on what they call it, the flamboyant boys of that teams with Dalton Castle. That's right. But it wasn't really much of a that match wasn't long at all. Like one of the boys barely, like one of the boys barely even got an arm twist to Malachi Black, which Malachi Black hit one on his own, like respectively, but he flips right over the top rope on the top corner, and this is where he twists his own. This is where Malachi Black just Like he tried to twist on Malachi Black's arm, but he easily spin back his back of his right elbow and hits him strike to the right between the eyes and the upper nose of the face of one of the flamboyant boys, like which right to him and this was not that hard, not really much of a match because when the other flamboyant boy got tagged in, this is where Malachi Black tagged in Brody King because and he barely he hit a punch right onto the chest of Brody King because he looked like a 6'7" gorilla that has tattoos all over his body, like that make it look like if you literally have gorilla fur. And this is where he try to hit chops, kicks, and punch. This is where Brody King thinks he was Braun Breaker because he started woofing him like whoo, and then this is where he tried to close. This is where or even Rick Steiner or a dog in general, but I'll say between Rick Steiner and Braun Breaker, this is where he tried to clothesline the flamboyant boy. This is where he tried to go for a wheelbarrow, but this is where Brody King hit him with a back slam, and this is where Brody King continue his bark, like looking like a punishing dog, like an execution dog that loves mauling and eating up and killing his foes and his victims, like which he was trying, which he metaphorically did to one of the boys, like even though the other boy, like the other flamboyant boys, like grab onto his leg. This is where Brody King was hanging on, like, are you really doing this right now? This is where the other guy trying to go for a crossbody tackle to him. This is where he'd move him right out of the way, which he landed on his own guy. This is where Brody King Irish whips the legal boy in. This is where Malachi Black trying to pick him up and try to hit him, I believe, with the black mask, but before he can do that, this is where he gets step up into the Geary by the boy. This is where Malachi Black hits him with a striking knee strike, which is a signature move. This is where he put him in a suplex position, but he tossed him in midair, which or upper air, like high up in the air, I should say, up nearly like 3/4 away from up in the heavens. Like this is where Brody King, I would say a quarter away, I should say, up in the heavens. My bad. He hits the atomic drop to get the 1, 2, 3, making a statement for their 3 or no, like 6 arch rivals, like 6 of their rivals for tomorrow night's AEW Full Gear. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, this will probably be my last time saying it though. It'll like who you think's gonna win and who's gonna walk out is the All Elite Wrestling Tag Team Championships. I believe Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Something in my gut feeling that they're gonna win, and they'll face Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. Whether if it's in a future AEW Dynamite or an AEW Collision show, only time will tell. And let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. That's why we got a hype video with Chris Statlander. A hype video with Chris Statlander and Sky Blue and Julia Hart, which Julia Hart's like, I've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time now, and I'm the princess of the breakfast, and you're gonna see your next TBS championship. And she was like, Chris Statlander, I'm gonna see you less than 24 hours. And this is where Sky Blue was like. He's like, Julia Hart, like, ever since you missed me in the eyes, like, I have never been the same. And she was like, tomorrow night, don't get in my way, and I will be in yours, and I will punish you and become TBS champion. And this is where Chris Statlander was like both Julia, and this is where Chris Statlander was in the promo vignette of saying like Julia and Sky think that they can Yeah, but the number one thing they both have in common, they think they can dig a little bit deeper and get a little darker to try to dethrone me for my TBS championship. And they still can't, and still can't get over to me. Like I've been the strongest I've been having, and I've been stronger every single day. You know what? It's gonna take more than just that to beat the stat. Which I'll say that's true, but I think that Sky Blue's gonna catch is going to catch what's her name, Chris Statlander off guard and mist her right into the face. Whether if it's black mist or blue mist, it's gonna go directly in her eyes. Like it could be very unpredictable, more than Asuka's, and then she will pin her and become and they get the 1, 2, 3 and become the new AEW TNT TBS championship, the sister of the TNT. But this is where we got the fatal four-way number one contenders match with Trent Beretta taking on Penta LCL Miedo, and Brian Cage and Commander, which that's up next. Which Brian Cage was doing more of the beatdowns at first, and this is where he Irish whips Penta right to the right side. He did the most idiotic maneuver in all of sports entertainment / pro wrestling, bowing his head down to get ready to early, like way too early into the match, like for enough time for the wrestler to just kick him right into the head. That's where he hit the discus forearm right into the right. This is where Trent Beretta hit the discus forearm right onto the Cage's head, which was a smart move to bring down the big machine man. Like after Penta hit the knee strike right into the head. This is where Commander with a K hits a Hurricane Rana springboard right to the right side, and hits a super kick right into the head. Like I was like, wait a minute, like what if these guys were teaming together, even though they're not really a tag team? Like Commander's not like his brother Ray Phoenix, let alone being Ray Phoenix is replacement. Like they both have in common is having Alex Abderhantes as their manager. But this is where they did the double super kick of Brian Cage off the apron, right to the machine. This is where they both were thinking the same thing. This is where Trent Beretta's like, okay, like go ahead, do this, like so we can not worry about Brian Cage taking our spot. This is where it started off first was with when Commander hitting a diving corkscrew when Penta flips him and tosses him in midair. He did a corkscrew splash, spinning right onto Brian Cage. This is where Trent Beretta goes for a super kick right onto. I mean, not the super kick. This is where Trent Beretta was like, come on, hit your dive. This is where Penta tried to go for his dive. This is where he gets caught off guard with an elbow, with hit a face first with Trent Beretta's elbow, which was probably the most classic. This was the most classic distraction maneuver in all the sports entertainment, I should say. This is where Penta hit the chop right onto Trent Beretta. This is where he hit the chop right back. I was like, please don't do this again. Like, don't do it louder. Like, Gunther probably will hear you a mile away. But luckily, I don't think WWE is even in the California area because they just had their show in Indiana tonight. So I guess that's one thing not to worry about. Gunther making it to Forum Arena. This is where Penta hit the forearms. I was like, that's much better. But I think next when they see these guys, he's probably gonna murk them with a beatdown, like inside the squared circle, of course, with this sport of respect. But this is where he's like, but anyway, this is where Penta was like El Zio Miedo when he tried to go for his running maneuver. This is where he gets knee struck by what's his name, Trent Beretta. He gets hit with a half Nelson slam, Snapdragon. This is where he tried to run to go for a dive to Penta, but this is where he gets picked off by Commander with a step up insecurity. Keep him distracted, and he hits the springboard missile drop kick to I'll say missile, but just the springboard drop kick to Trent Beretta. This is where he climbs right on the top rope, flying. This is where he tried to go for a running dip ropes, but he was having trouble, and then Brian Cage was not making it better when he started shaking and ringing it, which he uh, fell right off of it. Luckily, landed on the outside, but Brian Cage put his gained some balance and went right on the middle rope, standing 2 feet right on the mid rope. This is where he grabs onto the commander, because Brian Cage sometimes can be athletic when it's convenient for him, despite being a little bit over 300 pounds. And suplexed him right off off of the middle ropes, like near the left ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. He suplexed him right onto Penta and Trent Beretta, and everybody was down into this match. And then when the fans were doing their holy sugar honey iced tea chants, and yeah, even though they weren't saying sugar honey iced tea, they were just saying the words that's the initials for it. Like, and I'll say I don't really blame him. At least 50% of this suplex, because it looks very unusually dangerous, I would say, to say the least. If y'all know what I mean. But anyway, this is where he started Irish whipping. First, he was Irish whipping Trent Beretta right into the bottom left corner of the ringside area with the former Bears, throwing him to that side of Bears, and he throws. And this is where he throws Penta El Zio Miedo right into the top left corner, and then he throws Commander right to the left side of the hardest part of the ring apron. Where he puts Nana playing cheerleader, saying like, "Come on, Brian, like you got this, like you are back in control, and you're not only going to be the 1/3 of this Ring of Honor Trios champion, but we're going to see a new TNT champion." I was like, if you can see how wrong you are, Nana. This is where he brings This is where he brings Commander into the ring after tossing him right to the hardest part of the ring apron. This is where we got him in the ring, like fighting, like with, and him trying to finish him off and hitting him with slamming striking maneuvers, but he kicked out of it. He tried to do it with Trent Beretta when he got in the ring, but he managed to keep kicking out of moves that Brian Cage had him. This is where he dipped him right to the bottom left corner, hit him with a pump handle slam, like a pump handle back slam. This is where Panther tried to get back into this match, but he was barely trying to get up to get back in the ring to prevent Brian Cage of winning this match. And so he's hitting side swinging kicks onto the left leg of Brian Cage, just distracting the leg, so he's not gonna have to be dominant and more or less of dominant, I should say. This is where it's like El Zio Miedo. This is where Penta saw Commander, and they did double team because like half the times, like when it comes to tag team matches, well, at least like when Rey Fenix is not around, unless it's a 6-man tag match, like he always teamed with Commander. So he's like, hey, like why not? Like he's like, Commander right here, like I got an idea for you, like the idea for you and me. And this is where he runs up to him. This is where he puts him in midair. This is where Commander hits the drop kick, because he knew exactly what he meant by that. Because they were thinking smarter, like they worked together to bring down the biggest man in the squared circle. And then this is where Penta sweeps his legs down right into the bottom onto the lower left corner of Tina in the turnbuckle. This is where they started double teaming Brian Cage and also fighting each other at the same time, which I had never seen nobody done this before. Like, man, luchadors just do unusual stuff like this all the time, I bet. Like, because they just do incredibly unrealistic move sets like that you would never see in a typical wrestling ring. But anyways, that's where because Penta tried to go for a super kick, but he ducks out of the way. This is where he tried to run. This is where he flips him right over Brian Cage, which he hit a cannonball right onto the former FTW and Impact World Champion. This is where Trent Beretta tried to go to Commander, but he hits that kick that sliding kick up flip like while doing a backflip, like Ricochet would have done. This is where he hits a. This is where I try to go. This is where Trent Beretta try to go for a body slam, like a sit out body, but he gets flipped into a wheelbarrow roll up, but he only got a 2.5 count. This is where Commander try to go for a wheelbarrow arm drag until Trent Beretta counters, hits a German suplex. He tried to hit another one, like if he was taking him to Suplex City, but unfortunately Brock Lesnar was not in town. This is where he hit the second one. This is where he tried to go for a third one, but this is where Commander tried to hit a super kick of his own, but this is where Penta tried to attempt a super kick. Trent saw this and he ducked out of the way right on time. Smart move from the best friend member, and Penta actually super kicks Commander. This is where Trent Beretta tried to go. This is where Trent Beretta goes for back to belly facebuster maneuver right on, like in the amateur side, amateur kind of style maneuver. This is where he starts continuing to swing and slam onto Penta, like into a gut wrench kind of slam maneuver. This is where he tried to go for a German suplex to Brian Cage, but Brian Cage was not allowing it. He started hitting elbows to the face of Trent Beretta, and this is why I thought that Brian Cage was gonna win, and it's the battle of the cage, no relations to one another, or unless I'm mistaken. Well, in kayfabe perspective, we don't know about that for sure, but in reality, they don't, because that's their wrestling names, and that's, well, at least Christian Cage is not really his last name. I don't think it is. But anyway, this is where Brian Cage tried to go for the F10 to Trent Beretta, but this is where Trent Beretta counters, hits a countering Poison Rana right onto Brian Cage. This is where Brian Cage kind of slowly but more surely got back up, hits a discus lariat out of nowhere to Trent Beretta. This is where Trent Beretta was not letting nothing bring him down to the canvas. This is where he started hanging on to the bottom ropes of the left hand corner. This is where Commander got back in. This is where he was getting ready to hit a flying. He ran up and tried to go for a flying head scissors DDT. This is where Brian Cage cuts him on his feet. This is where he hits some kind of a death driver, I guess, because it was like he turned into a what's that, like a reverse DDT, but he flipped him all over, make him do a backflip and do a face buster with him sitting out onto the move. This is where Penta goes back in the ring, but Brian Cage didn't give no damns more than Jey Uso doesn't give a damn what Roman Reigns says, because he pinned Commander afterwards, but he gets sidekicked with the save by Penta, with his temporary tag partner, being nearly taking the pinfall in this match. But they're not teaming right now, even though they're helping each other out with Brian Cage. But it's still at the end of the day of this match, it's every man for himself. This is where he hit the super, but he also hit the super kick to Trent Beretta. And let me tell you, before I finish off with this match, I should say, I would say this was the match of the night. I would say not the number one match. I'll say the second match of the night of the Collision side of things. But this is where what's his name? Trent Beretta Irish whip Penta right onto the lower right corner of the ropes. This is where he does the sliding diving dodge of over Trent Beretta, hits a backstabber. This is where This is where Penta goes doing wheelbarrow, like a wheelbarrow rolling, roll right on wheelbarrow front flip roll onto Brian Cage, and then he connected with Commander, like with him rolling out of Brian Cage and doing a Canadian Destroyer in the process. I was like, how is Luchador doing incredible stuff like this? Like, I don't know how. Like even if I was trained by Luchadors, like I couldn't even do half of these maneuvers because it's so impossible. I mean, I can get a ring shape, but I'll probably be failing like in my first dozens of attempts of doing maneuvers like this. That's where he's stand up and selling this like a champ. This is where, yeah.
I think she needs your help.
You need her help?
Yeah.
Okay. But this is where he hits sling blades. But before I get finished off, I'm gonna check on like what my mom needs. I'll be right back. Okay. No, I know. He just went out. Come on. But anyway, we're gonna. No, stay right here. Stay right here, Chancey. I'll be right back. Excuse me. All right, everybody, I'm back. But anyway, we got. That's where we got Penta trying to go for his little phantom pump handle driver right onto the Trent Beretta. This but he only got a 2.9999999999999. 0.1 away from being 3. This is where he picks up this is where he picks up Trent Beretta. This is where he try to go for his finishing power driver. This is where Brian Cage try to go for the discus clothesline. He pinned the Dutch Wild time, putting what's his name down, or put him on the side, I should say, Trent Beretta. This is where Penta go for a super kick. This is where Commander try to go for the front roundhouse kick, try to go for a back. This is where he ducks double time. Penta hits the super kick right onto Commander's midsection. This is where he try to go for a dive outside the Brian kick, using Commander as a stepping stool over the top rope in the left side of the ringside area, which was very well put together. Of course, this is where Commander goes for a suicide, I'll say, rolling flip dive right through the middle ropes in the left side. Afterwards, this is where Commander tried to go up on the top rope, try to finish off Trent Beretta, which is his finishing. What he was doing his finishing maneuver, which he was walking on the ropes and try to go for the shooting star press, but he missed just by an inch with Trent Beretta moving out of the way at the last second. But Commander managed to stay up on his feet, which was amazing. This is where it looks like Trent Beretta was trying to go for the end of days, but he wouldn't go there. He was trying to flip him out of it. This is where he goes for his finishing maneuver, which is the strong zero for the 1, 2, 3. Huh? Yeah, bananas. Yeah, you want bananas? Okay, I'll get you bananas. But yeah, he got the 1, 2, 3, and Trent Beretta is gonna be the number 1 contender for tonight, for later on tonight at AEW Rampage for the TNT Championship. And who do you think's gonna win? Who was gonna win the TNT Championship? Let me know in the comments down below. But I'll be right back. If you want another banana, can you help me out with that?
Lord, I'm done.
Thank you so much.
Motherfucking troll. I'm taking you pieces of shit.
We're gonna be hanging around. We're gonna have to put on a new diet, no matter what. You can still eat your banana. I'm about to have to finish off my podcast real fast. Okay, I'm back. This is where Trent Beretta wins, but we're gonna talk about that in just a moment here. This is where we got a backstage interview with Don Callis, bragging about Powerhouse Will Hobbs, slamming Paul White into the windshield of the car, on last week's street fight match from AEW Dynamite. I was like, you're still can keep bragging about that despite y'all losing. I was like, and for you, Mr. Willie, last time I saw you were tied up with duct tape on the top corner of the ropes with Kenny Omega and Jericho tying you up with the duct tape and hitting you with every weapon that was in the ring. So why you really brag about something? Even though that was probably the highlight of the match, I would say, don't get me wrong. And then it looks like I was like this. And he's like, no one has never done that before. I was like, that may be true, but there's plenty of wrestlers who picked up Paul before, so there's not that much of excitement. But he was like, that's brutality. That's what we do here. And then this is where Lexi was like, what? I don't know. It probably went off. We gotta put it on. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. Here you go. Here you go, Bernie. But anyway, he's like, this is brutality. And that's what Powerhouse Hobbs are. It means anyone can get it. And we will give it to. And what I know, he took out a giant, the giant of multiple time, of a multiple time world champion of his career. And he's like, I'm 6'3". I'm 275 pounds, and I'm big. I'm black. I'm jacked. And he's like, you, Paul, I know you're resting already. Like, you're coming resting in the hospital. Like, just stay away because anyone can get it. I was like, really? That's the catchphrase you can say? And that goes for anybody that can get it? Like, that, like, what sense does that make? It's like, I don't know. It's like saying, like anybody can get, like, I just like saying it's more basic than, I'll say, I don't know the best way to describe it, but I'll say it's it's like anyone can, I'll say, I don't know, like it's like basically saying anyone can be your father or mother. Like, anybody can get that, or anyone can have your mom or dad in the corner. The way they explain that, like, that's the best way I can compare this to. But anyways, but I'm not gonna get into any of that. That's just very silly. That's silly talk from your host of the SNA podcast. But we basically got a squash match with Wardlow again with the guy he faced. Like, he didn't stand a chance. Like, he just did him with a power bomb and then a swanton bomb afterwards, and he just walked out for the victory. But we're gonna move on to this is where we got Roosh versus Uncle Dax Harwood right now. Like, this is where they started out into the ramp. Like, this is where Dax Harwood tried to do a sit out power driver to Roosh, like right into the middle of the ring. And this is where he No, can you put it in the trash? No, what trash? Okay. Uncle Julian will do it. You're making a little mess. No, you gotta. Sometimes you just gotta do stuff. Here you go. Here's another banana if you're done with that one. Okay, Trey? Here you go. Sorry about the interruptions, but anyway, we got Roosh hitting. He flips him right over, hitting his back first, and he landed his legs as well, right onto the hard concrete of the floor. This is where he did the. This is where he redid the count. This is where he went back, hitting more deadly chops to Dax the Axe. This is where he Irish whips him right to the bottom side and to the former Bears. This is where he started going to the bottom left, the bottom right, the top left, like back to back. Then that's where he redid the count like attempts. But also this is where we had Ricky Starks and Big Bill joining commentary with him talking to Nigel McGuinness, Kevin Kelly, and the Tony Schiavone. And then this is where Roosh Irish whip Dax Harwood again right onto the top left side of the barricade. This is where we got This is where we got Roosh hitting the knife edge chop right on the Dax Hardwood double times. This is where I was like, I hope like Roosh does not get added to the envy list. This is where Dax Hardwood didn't do a chops. I was like, yeah, Dax Hardwood's going to be added to the list for probably the fifth week in a row. This is where Roosh hits a chop right back. I'm like, like I'm gonna be praying that Gunther does not find him and murk them, and the next time he sees these two in the squared circle. But anyway, this is where Roosh grabs onto. This is where he grabs onto grabs on the Dax Hardwood after he chopped Dax chopped Roosh. He hit the knife edge chop to him, hitting it right onto his chest. This is where Dax Hardwood hits the chop right onto Roosh. This is where he started repeatedly hitting punch and forearms right onto the head of the brother of Dragon Lee. This is where Dax Hardwood had to get held back by the referee because he was starting doing too much to the point that he could have brutalized, make him brutalized and paralyzed, to death. Like this is where, which I'm not sure if that makes any sense. Like what I just explained it, but this is where he tried to run right back to the bottom right corner, but he gets instantly booted right into the face by Roosh and got sent right into the ring post at the inner side of into the lower right corner. And then this is where Roosh licks the hand up bottom to top and just chopped it around the chest of Dax Hardwood, which I'm not sure if that was sanitary or safe for him to do. This is where he started hitting a double foot stomp right on the Uncle Dax Hardwood. This is where that's me. I'm married for another man. Thank you, thank you, Birdie. Thank you so much, Birdie Bird. But anyways, that's where Roosh tried to go for a finisher double drop kick, but Dax Hardwood covered his eyes right on time. But this is where Dax Hardwood's like, not in the face, not the face. This is where he gets kicked right into the face, like when he took his hands out of his face to cover his face, like from getting hit. This is where Roosh does the Andrade pose like this, like. But this is where Dax Hardwood rolls out of the ring. This is where This is where he had to take him back in the ring, like after going after him, like after a little back and forth. Like mostly he's been in control with the back and forth. You got banana, yay! Good for you. This is where we got Dax Hardwood and Roosh back in the ring. Come on. Like, what? Don't you want Uncle to do it, or you got it? Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna argue. This is where he gets the German suplex right onto Roosh the first time. This is where he tried to go for another one. This is where Roosh hang on, and this is where he went for a chop right into the chest of Uncle Dax. Like, ow! And it sounds exactly like that. What I just did to myself. This is where, and then this is where Roosh goes right on the top rope. This is where he puts him right on the top rope. This is where he hits a right rear chop right onto him, like on the top rope. This is where he hits a headbutt right on the Dax Hardwood. Dax Hardwood hits a right hand right into the head and then hits a chop like right on the top rope. I was like, I'm gonna keep getting chops like if there's no next year and like if there's no Gunther as well. But you're forgetting he's the ring general, and if he sees somebody hitting chops, he's gonna add him to the envy list. Unless if it's just a minor, like just a normal minor chop, like he's gonna give you a pass and a warning. But unless you're Ruthlink Kaiser, but I'm not sure if he's gonna stay in Imperium. But the point is like don't do it too much to get Gunther's attention in a bad way. But anyways, this is where Dax Hardwood chops him hard enough for Roosh to fall down onto the middle of the canvas. This is where he gets tripped over by Roosh, and he lands where it hurts the most, like in his jewels, like off the metal turnbuckle support. This is where Roosh goes right on the top rope. This is where He's getting ready to hit a suplex right off the top rope, which he successfully did, but he only got a 2.999999999 zero and minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is what fans were saying, this is awesome, and I was agreeing, like saying, hell yeah, this is awesome. I'll say, this is definitely the number one match of the night, like definitely. I'll say the second match goes to Miro and Daniel Garcia, I guess. Like, I'll say this was definitely the match of the night for an AEW collision, like because they were going back to back, hard hitting moves on one another, like big men or more like little men slapping man meat, and but unfortunately, I'll say half the times it looked like Gunther probably half the times of the chops, like Gunther probably seen them and he probably added them to the list. But anyways, this is where start hitting slaps on each other. Like now yeah, that's gonna probably sting in the morning when you're trying to get off your pillow in your bed. This is where they went back and hit each other in the face, falling flat on the ground. This is where Ricky Starks was like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? They just don't quit and they just don't stop, do they? This is where the referee was doing this count, like double count. This count, double count to both men, like being down for the 10-second warning. Like if they don't answer the count by 10, they'll both be counted out like into a no contest or a draw, I should say. But when it got to 5 or 6, this is where Roos started getting up, or was it the count of 7? Both men were down. This is where Dax Harwood looked very mad or angrier than a bull, like being teased with their horns. This is where he started letting out his mustache horns, start trying to strike onto Roos's face, which Roos was ready for him because he was getting him. Because he started hitting clotheslines on when they were hitting each other with clotheslines, with both of them having the same idea. Until Dax Harwood tried to go for a striking clothesline, but this is where Roos was ready. He ducked out of the way, hit a clothesline of his own. He was like, "You're not the only bull in this ring." This is where Dax Harwood hits a. This is where Dax Harwood hits a clothesline respectively, like after him, and this is where. And this is where Roosh hits a Olympian slam. Like even though it was barely executed, but he managed to slam him right into the middle of the canvas. This is where it goes for the pin, but he only got a 2.9 second count. This is where this is where this this is where and this is where I believe Bruce was getting ready to hit him with the DDT. But this is where Dax Harwood finally hit him with the pile driver, I believe. Or wasn't no, I think he got out of it, which I think that was a double curse whammy for Dax Harwood because he tried to attempt it the first time, but it didn't work the first time. He got flipped over. But it looks like the double whammy wasn't that bad because he hit him with the roll up after he flips him over, but the sunset flip wasn't turned to a pin because this is where Roosh flips over. This is where he hits. Go for a side kick right into the face. This is where Dax Harwood move out of the way, ducks. This is where Dax ducks out of his clothesline, try to go for a backslide slam to a roll up, but he wouldn't stay down for the pinfall. This is where Dax Harwood goes for the sit out pile driver, which the third time was the charm, and not a double, and he's out of the double whammy cursed booth. This is where Dax Harwood goes for the pin. He only got a 2.999999 count, which I call him Dax Harwood without the extra D, which I thought at first it was a double D word, like which is hardwood, but it's Harwood. But this is where And this is where the fans, half the fans started saying, "Let's go, Roosh," and everybody was, the other half was chanting for Dax Harwood, which both of these men was bringing the fight to one another. Like it was like worth your time watching this match. Like I would say, definitely number one match of the night. Like I was like, how come this did not main event at the show? Perhaps like I can understand MJF, they have the interview, but they have this match be right before it. And this is where Roosh is like, those tag team titles are coming to me and my brother Jalistico. And this is where and then this is where he said something in Spanish, but Ricky Stark's response said, "I speak Spanish too." I'd say, "No, thank you." I was like, "Don't you mean no glaciers? Like, if you know how to speak Spanish, then how come you didn't say no glaciers?" But anyways, like I may not speak much Spanish, but I still remember some Spanish of my learnings as a young tot. But anyways, that's where he shoves the face in, but like he shoves the face right onto. He put his hand and shoves Ricky Stark's face. Like you just need to keep that mouth shut. And this is where Roosh trying to get ready to do his finishing move, that running double the middle drop kick. And Roosh was like it's ready to and it would have been over if it hadn't been for Big Bill getting involved after right after Ricky Starks uh, uh, convinced him or even just basically told him, shall I say, like go over there, grabbed onto Dax Harwood and started beating him right into his head. And this is where Ricky Starks went into Roosh and attacked it. This is where Dax Harwood's tag partner, Cash Wheeler, came in and hit right hands right onto the 7-foot bodyguard of Ricky Starks. They start going fists back and forth. This is where Jalistico and Preston Vance came in, and they jumped Ricky Starks while Big Bill was standing on Dax Harwood's neck. Like this is where Jalistico tried to grab on and hold on to him and try to beat up Cash Wheeler. This is where Cash Wheeler grabbed on Jalistico, put him into the lower left corner, and started laying him out with some punches like boom, 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 boom. And this is where Malachi Black came in and Brody King. This is where we had a huge brawl with everybody involved. This is where Brody King was in the ringside, like standing onto the lower right side, lower left side of the ringside area, while Big Bill was in the lower right side area. And then this is where there's like, so we meet right here. And this is where they went face to face. This is where they start hitting punches right onto each other. This is where they and this is where they try to go fight over for the ladder, but this is where Jalistico and Cash Wheeler hits a diving crossbody onto Big Bill and Brody King. That's right, Brody King. This is where Cash Wheeler started hitting the hammers onto Brody King. Dax Harwood got Malachi Black. This is where we had Roosh and Ricky Starks into the ring, or Preston Vance and Ricky Starks. This is where they had all the referees start breaking it up and because it was a massive chaos of fists flying everywhere, like if it's a tornado of fists, like spinning around the arena, like they're like boom, 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 like come out of nowhere, like, and it turned out to be a ladder match, a fatal 4-way ladder match to be the exact. And Ricky Starks was like, I don't have to worry about being in a ladder match. I was in matches like the Texas Death Match and a strap match and all the matches that you can name right now. Like, do you think I'm worried about a measly ladder match with 6 other men in the match? Like me and Big Bill got this. That's what he said, like during the match with Dax Harwood and Roosh. But anyway, this is where we move on to the next. This is where we got Action Andretti, and this is where we got a backstage interview with Action Andretti. But this is where Roderick Strong and the Kingdom interrupted and said like Like you call him because Axel Andretti pointed out that he has a weak ass neck, and then this is where Mike Bennett was like you think he has a weak ass neck, like oh like little boy, please. And then this is where Matt Tape's like, yeah, you need to stop embarrassing yourself, especially with that bone cut you got. And this is where Axel Andretti said like a couple of advice for you guys. Y'all need to shut y'all's damn mouths and then he was like, I should punch it right now. And this is where Roderick Strong did his shouting catchphrase of his opponents and friend, like his opponents' names, and that was action down here. And then this is where he's like, I and then he was like out here, like you don't know who you're talking to, and you two boys, I think I found my next victim, like, and it's action. And I was like, he's like, get it? Like, I was like, yeah, like, why are you trying to sound like a loud director in Hollywood? Which that was very unnecessary. I'm not sure this made any sense because, like, it's just nothing but embarrassment. Like what, like MJF says. This is where we got Buddy Matthews taking on Willer Yuta up next. Which I'll say this was perhaps the third match of the night of AEW Collision side of things. This is where we got going back and forth, trying to go back and forth on them doing back to belly attempts, maneuvers onto each other. And then this is where Buddy Matthews tried to go in. This is where he tried to go for a rib cord to the legs. And then this is where Willer Yuta flips out of it, goes and he went under what's his name's legs, Buddy Matthews, try to go for a German suplex, but this is where Buddy Matthews was trying to get out of it. This is where he rolled out. This is where he tried to twist on the arm. This is where he bends the arm right onto, and then just snap and spread his arm right down, like down to the ground, like bend it back. This is where he started twisting it and try to put it on his shoulders and try to bend it right that way, like if he was Bryan Danielson and Kyle O'Reilly. But this is where Willer Yuta managed to roll out of it. This is where he hits twist his arm on his own, twisting it and bringing him down to his knees and then bending it forward. Like this is where Willer Yuta tried to twist that arm, bend it like more forward. This is where Buddy Matthews grab on his hand. This is where he hits a headlock slam. This is where he put him in a headlock. This is where Willer Yuta got out of it. He was like, you think that I couldn't easily got out of it? He was like, grabbing on the buddy, like, you want my leg? Like, go and get it. Like, come on, like, you want my leg? And like, yes, I want your leg, and I want to destroy it. And he's like, come and get it. This is where he tried to grab on it. He pulls it back. He's like, come on. He just keep teasing him about it. This is where Buddy Matthews go to. This is where Buddy Matthews tried to go for a double clothesline thingamajig, but he gets dodged like easily from the young member of the Blackpool Combat Club. This is where he hits a middle drop kick right with him out of the ring, off the apron. This is where he got out into the ring. This is where he hits a knife edge chop right into Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews answering right back. This is where he throws him right to Barry Barricade into the top left corner. This is where Buddy Matthews walk around saying like who came to see me here fight? I'm like, I would say Rhea Ripley, but unfortunately, like working duties and the other company have kept her busy because considering she's the women's world champion on Monday Night Raw. But anyway, this is where Buddy Murphy joining the barking club with Brody King because he'd start barking with fans barking along in the front row and saying, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And he hits a bicycle knee strike right into the jaw of Willer Yuta, thinking he was Kenny Omega with the V trigger. Even though he's been using the maneuver as much as Kenny Omega, just a little joke. This is where Buddy Matthews tried to pick up Wheeler Yuta, but he rams him right into the midsection. This is where he hits a striking right hand. This is where he gets kneed. This is where Wheeler Yuta hits a knee right into the midsection of Buddy Matthews. This is where Wheeler Yuta. This is where he Irish whip Wheeler Yuta right into the corner. This is where he tried to go for a running attacking splash running attack splash right onto Wheeler Yuta. He dodged out of the way, hits a kick like if it was Christian Cage, like back in his WWE ECW days. This is where he hot shot him right on the ropes. This is where he hits a face first right on the top turnbuckle. This is where he hits a ramming shoulder spear right onto the midsection of Buddy Matthews until he hangs onto his left arm, trying to go for an underhook DDT, a single underhook DDT to be the exact. This is where Wheeler Yuta flips him up over onto his corner, onto the hardest part of the ring apron. This is where they start hitting fists on each other back and forth respectively. This is where Wheeler Yuta hits a forearm right onto Wheeler Yuta. This is where he tossed Wheeler Yuta right off the apron, hitting face first right onto Al on the announce table. I was like, that could have easily gave him the win right there itself. And the referee was seeing if he was okay because he looked like he landed hard. You could hear his head whacking right onto the top of the sign of the Al on the announce table. And Buddy Matthews was like, I think that was perfectly good enough for him. And I think this is perfectly enough for him for one day. And this is where fans start doing their holy sugar honey iced tea chants. This is where they got him back in the ring. This is where Buddy Matthews tried to go for a suplex, but this is where Wheeler Yuta flips out of it, try to go for a German suplex. This is where Buddy Matthews hit a back elbow right into the face of Wheeler Yuta when he started still repeatedly hitting him back first with those elbow shots, but it didn't slow down Wheeler Yuta because he hit the discus 4 elbow right to the face. This is where what's his name? Buddy Matthews go on to trying to go for a rebound clothesline, but he gets onto the lower ropes, like flipping in and flipping out, but he gets hit with a bicycle knee strike, which Kenny Omega would call it the V trigger. This is where he tried to go for Matthews Law, but he gets instantly intercepted by Wheeler Yuta into a wheelbarrow rolling roll up, I should say, which is known as the most devastating move in all the sports entertainment. This is where Wheeler Yuta got him in a 2 even count, but this is where Wheeler Yuta tried to go for a swing. This is where he tried to go run right towards Buddy Matthews, but he dodged him by an inch. This is where he goes for the bottom rope swinging rebound clothesline, which see if it was a guarantee or not a German. I'm not a clothesline, a German suplex, which the first attempt wasn't successful, but it was a guarantee the second time. But he got him into a German suplex pin, but he only got him a 2.8 count. This is where Wheeler Yuta goes for a super kick, which the first time was successful, which I don't know how Buddy Matthews was still up when he tried to go for a second one, but this is where he hangs onto his ropes. I was like, I'm not sure you still were going to work the second time. That's where he put it down, but he should have known he was going to try to go for a second attempt for the third time, which it was a charm, which he kicked him right into the head. This is where Wheeler Yuta goes for a suicide dive right onto Buddy Matthews after he rolls out of the ring. This is where Wheeler Yuta tried to go for a pin, but still he kicks out at 2.99999999999, 0.1 away from being 3. This is where he rolled right onto the apron, which he shouldn't have been trying to grab him into the middle rope, which that was a huge mistake from the former Pure Championship because he tried to throw him back in the ring. This is where before he even get ready to get him back in the ring, he tried to go for a German suplex, but Buddy Matthews started instantly elbow striking the back of his head right when they were on the apron. This is where he pushes him onto the back, right onto the lower lower left corner of the ring post. This is where he tried to go for a suplex off to the bottom eight, or looked like he was going for the bottom apron, but he was going somewhere worse than the apron, and that's the hardest part of the ring. That's even the hardest part of the ring, and this was worse because it was the metal pole part of the support of the turnbuckle pad. He landed his ribs right onto it, and I'm hoping that his ribs didn't got shattered at any way. And this is where he got the Cena chance that fans used to say, with fans saying, "Let's go, Yuta sucks. Let's go, Yuta sucks." Like he's getting a taste of experience of the John Cena experience now, except he's in AEW. This is where Buddy Matthews tried to go for a suplex off the top turnbuckle. This is where Willie Yuta goes right on the mid ropes right onto the left side. That's where, or not left side, the bottom side. This is where he starts stomping. This is where Willie Yuta repeatedly stomping the jaw of Buddy Matthews. This is where he was getting ready to get up around the top rope, but he made sure he was up for good on the top. This is where he makes sure to keep repeatedly kicking him in the face. This is where he goes around the top. This is where he hits a crossbody splash right on the back of the head of Buddy Matthews, with him draping into the lower corner of the ring, but still hanging onto the bottom half of the apron, like the bottom part of the apron. This is where the bottom corner apron, I should say. This is where he kicks out at right before 3 at 2.999 triple double nines, like a negative 0.1 second away from being 3. This is where they try to go up on the top rope. This is where he catches them right on the mid rope. This is where he hits them with a super kick. This is where he gives them with a sunset flip, but this is where he kicks out of it. This is where he hits a curb stomp right in the back of the head and finally got the 1, 2, 3. And before I talk more about that, I'll be right back. Yeah, you go and do that. But yeah, you can just make it right now. I forgot to tell you that. I realized that.
I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna get this to training.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, just do it now instantly. Don't worry about anybody else.
Where you want your food at? Where you want your food?
But anyways, he did one of his disciples. I mean, his former tag partner Seth Rollins' finishing move. They get the win. Now, he thought he could do a post-match beatdown with him grabbing a steel chair and near the timekeeper's area. This is where Claudio Castagnoli went for his best friend, and this is where Tony Schiavone sounded like my dad, saying like two factions colliding, like my dad said in 2013, like when the Wyatt family debuted. He's like, one of these days they're gonna face the Shield, which they did a year later at the beginning of 2014. I was like, how did my dad know that? I mean, I was thinking somewhat of the same thing. I was like, I see what WWE's doing. They're trying to put two most of the popular trios factions, like make them get over, and then one day they'll be in a 6-man tag feud, which it took them a little bit less than a year to do so. But yeah, but Tony Schiavone said that about the House of Black and the Blackpool Combat Club. And we wanted to see these two guys fight each other like for a long time now. Like, this is where Claudio Castagnoli went on the microphone. He was like, "Hey, buddy boy, if you want the potential Blackpool Combat Club, if you want to cut this spooky promo back there, or whatever the hell that you do out there, all you have to do is ask, and I'll gladly accept it. Because you've been pissing me off in the last few weeks, Buddy Matthews. Like, and honestly, I like to make my challenges face to face, right here in the light, like a man. And this is where now I will absolutely hate to come all the way to Los Angeles while it's kicking some ass. And the fans start chanting like, yay! It's like, so what do you say with you and me at Full Gear? Even though that's his arch rival, like says that, but I'm saying like tomorrow night, like unless you scared. And Buddy Mat's like, I ain't scared. Like I accept. This is what he was looking at him like. And who thinks gonna win this match? Like just something that just to add on the card because yeah, quite frankly, like I would say there's really nothing on the card so far. Like much. Like only just the AEW World Championship match, the Tag Team Championship, the Women's World Championship match, and the TNT Championship match, Tag Team Championship match. That's only a handful. And even the International Championship and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. I mean, Kenny Omega and Jericho against the Young Bucks in a tag team match. We also have this is where we have Orange. This is where we got John Moxley and Orange Cassidy vignette about their for their match at tomorrow night at Full Gear, which he was like I'm going to take back what's mine that I shouldn't have lost in the first place. And this is where Orange Cassidy was like, I have to beat you, like to prove a point and show that you're not better than me. But who thinks going to win the international championship? Let me know in the comments down below. We could do either way. Like Orange Cassidy can finally show that he can beat him, and he retains his international championship. And he can have a secondary reign of being the longest reigning international championship for the second time in a row, of beating his own record. Or we could we could do this. Like we could have John Moxley win, and he brags that like when it comes to him fighting for the international championship, he's 2-0. And he can brag that all week around. But anyway, we do have a tag team main event match with the two champions, which is the AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida and the AEW TBS Champion Chris Statlander against the Outcasts is Saraya and Ruby Soho. And I was like, I hope Angela Parker's not going to be around, like in supporting Ruby Soho and being more romantic to her. Because I just cannot stand on-screen relationships in pro wrestling. Like I don't see the point of it. Like nothing. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm saying I just don't understand the idea. Like Like it just doesn't. It's nonsensical to me. It's my personal opinion. But anyway, this is where we got Hikaru Shida twisting the arm of the former Ruby Riott, like onto the arm. This is where Ruby Soho twists her arm and twist her arm like and came back into the match. Hit a side rush, tried to go for a side sweeping headlock. This is where she did, and this is where Hikaru Shida put her head right around the neck of Ruby Soho, and this is where Hikaru Shida drop kicks her right on the upper right corner of the teeth of the turnbuckle. This is where Hikaru Shida hits a striking forearm right into the face. This is where Ruby Soho slide down under her legs, hit her face first right onto the turnbuckle. This is where she hits a striking knuckle punch right onto the face of Ruby Soho. This is where she hit her with a reverse firewoman's carry maneuver, like a rack attack, but she slams her right back with her still standing, with Ruby Soho hitting face first right into the canvas, like which she did not know what day it was, which she probably thought was Saturday, but that's not until less than 24 hours from now, which I'll say where I'm at, it's already like Saturday. It's already Saturday, November 18th, which Full Gear is like hours from now, which I'm still going to say tonight because it was this past night's show of Collision along with Rampage. This is where Chris Statlander did a double Irish whip with Hikaru Shida when she got tagged in by her. She tripped her over with Hikaru Shida hitting a running drop kick with Chris Statlander hitting a cartwheel leg drop right onto the Ruby Soho. Only got a 2 even count. This is where Chris Statlander goes for a fire women's carry, but this is where Ruby Soho hits her with a sunset flip and go for which is the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. This rock roll. She rolls right under Chris Statlander, tags in Saraya. This is where she runs right toward Chris Statlander, but she gets arm dragged by the former anti-diva. This is where Chris Statlander try Irish whip her right into the upper corner. This is where Saraya hits her with a striking right hand right into the face, and she Irish whip her instead, respectively. This is where she ducks right down like every wrestler would do when they're doing an agility maneuver. This is where Chris Statlander flips right over the ducking Saraya, and then this is where she stands right on. She ducks down when it ducks down when Saraya tries to run right to her. This is where she hits a shoulder tackle, bringing Saraya down in the process. This is where she tried to go for a 2 count. But she only got a 2 count, which is 2.4. This is where we saw both Julia Hart and Sky Blue watching it in their respective locker rooms. This is where Saraya Irish whips what's her name? Chris Statlander, but she dodges her. This is where Saraya hits the shoulder tackle like after she did the slide and dodge, like when she landed right onto the upper right corner of the turnbuckle. This is where Saraya scream out like if she was or still her anti-diva days in WWE. This is where she started hitting some single hammer axe handle, tagging Ruby Soho, going for a double suplex, but Chris Statlander was not going to allow that to happen. Instead, Chris Statlander hit a double suplex on Nia in a 1-on-2 situation. That's where Hikaru Shida gets tagged in. She hits the knee strike right onto the face of Saraya, hits the striking right hand onto Ruby Soho. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go for a suplex to Ruby Soho, right onto a down Saraya, which she was sitting down like comatose, right into the bottom, right onto the lower left corner of the bottom turnbuckle. This is where Hikaru Shida stack them together with Ruby Soho and Saraya stacked onto each other. This is where Hikaru Shida was getting ready to hit punches on each other, like with them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like repeatedly. And then she was like, and she said like "aside," like which is something in Japanese, which I'm still need to learn the language. This is where Ruby Soho tried to. This is where Saraya slams her down right onto the back of her head. This is where Saraya had the upper hand, hitting single axe handles like repeatedly. This is where she tags in Ruby Soho, which she starts stomping on her nonstop. This is where she tags back in Saraya. This is where they hit a double team maneuver. This is where Hikaru Shida managed to intercept what's her name, Ruby Soho. She got on the right top rope, hit the drop kick right onto her. This is where Saraya he tags herself in this. This is where she hits a right shot to Hikaru Shida. This is where Chris Statlander tried to come right towards the former anti-diva, former AEW Women's Champion, but she gets super kicked by her as well. She gets super kicked. This is where we try to see a guarantee from both Ruby Soho and Saraya. This is where Hikaru Shida was countering and getting out of the double suplex. This is where Ruby Soho. This is where they got double whammy because she got out of it. Hikaru Shida. This is where Ruby Soho tried to go for a kick. She put her leg right onto Saraya's hands. This is where she goes for the frontwards roundhouse kick. This is where Saraya goes for a forearm right to Hikaru Shida, but she answered back with a forearm on her too. This is where they started hitting forearms right on one another to see who's going to break it down until they both hit each other so hard they went down to the ground. And slowly but surely got back up. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go for her running katana move, but this is where Ruby Soho raked her in the back to distract her. This is what gave her tag partner Soraya enough time to hit her finishing move, that jumping DDT maneuver. This is where Soraya tried to Irish whip her on the left side, which is their corner. This is where Hikaru Shida hits a striking knee strike on the face of Ruby Soho. This is where she tried to go for a clothesline to her. She ducks out of the way. This is where she runs right to the right side, hits a jumping knee strike right onto her face. This is where Hikaru Shida was ready to hit her finishing move. And then this is where Ruby Soho was distracted by Angela Parker, Cool Hand Ange, which he put out his cool hand like to pick up Ruby Soho. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go for a pin drop splash, but she gets hit with a super kick up in like 6 feet in the air. This is where Soraya nearly had her won with her finishing move with the DDT, or nearly had her won with DDT, but Chris Statlander was there to make sure she doesn't get the pin. This is where Cool Hand Ange's like, "Are you okay, Ruby?" I think so. This is where Soraya throws Chris Statlander out of the ring, where into the left side where Angela Parker and Ruby Soho was standing. This is where Soraya was like, "What the hell?" Like, "Oh hell no! Like, what are you doing with him, Ruby? Like, come on! Like, what are you doing with him? Like, don't." Soraya did not like what she's seeing. This is where Chris Statlander hit a clothesline, the second ever man that she ever attacked in AEW overall. I guess that includes, that includes me, like being in that intergender match. I was like, yeah, this is the second time I've seen her. This was the perfect distraction because if Ruby Soho was more concerned with her on-screen boyfriend, like it distracted her too much because she didn't realize she was in this tag match with Soraya, because Hikaru Shida hits her with a roll-up, a schoolgirl roll-up, hit her with the katana. She got the 1, 2, 3, double, like the two women's champions got the win, which of course, Hikaru Shida's the AEW Women's World Champion, Hikaru Shida, and AEW TBS Champion, Chris Statlander. They got the win, closing out the AEW Collision matches, making this I'll say the fourth match of the night. Don't get me wrong, but this still is a good match. And then this is where they celebrated, holding each other's respective championships that they're going to defend this tomorrow at AEW Full Gear, which they are handshaking each other. This is where, because Chris Statlander had to worry about defend her championship in the three-way against Julia Hart and Sky Blue, which they're too similar to one another. And we also have Hikaru Shida taking on Timeless Tony Storm, but we're going to talk about more about that. More about that, like probably on the recap, if I don't have nowhere else to watch it, like, and if I don't have the money in time, like, but it depends, like if I can watch it, or if I can watch it on the streaming platform, like if all I need is the pay for the subscription. I don't think Max did any final touches of being full content with Max, so I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But anyway, we got a little backstage interview with when MJF was like, thank you for having me, you fat old prick, like pretending to be his old heel self. Like he's like, was Renee too busy? Renee was too busy to be in this interview. And then this is where Tony Schiavone's like, well, yeah, I guess you could say that, please. And then this is where MJF's like, don't worry, I'm just messing around. I'm just messing with you. Like, I didn't mean what I say. Like, and then this is what gave Tony Schiavone flashbacks. Like, I hope we're having fun here. But he was like, yeah, like, okay, I hope so. And then this is where Tony Schiavone was like tomorrow night at Full Gear, you're going to be defending 2 titles, 2 to be exact. Like the AEW World Championship against Jay White, and you'll defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles without your partner Adam Cole. But why? And then MJF's like, why? Like that question's simple. I promise that I try to tend to keep it. Like most the AEW wrestlers try to do. Like when they say something, they be a man of their word. And I was like, I realized that Austin and Colton Gunn are incredibly ugly. Like very, and I mean very, they're very, but they're also very talented despite that. I have a tough task ahead of me. Like at the 0 hour at Full Gear, I'm going to do it whatever it takes to win. And I mean literally whatever it takes, like I did with my last few wins. And then they showed the recaps where Adam Cole was there, like as his bro Chacho, his true bro Chacho for the win.
Don't let him get it.
I won't.
Because he's looking right at it with his dumb self.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to be eating it during on the recap. Recap AEW.
Cold outside. Yeah, I guess I'll get something to do.
Where's the top of the sauce? Oh, there it is. Okay.
You have to choose from that.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to try to use taco too. That is the way.
I'm still doing my SNA podcast. Despite eating this. Sorry about that, my viewers. Trey, you. Come on, Trey. You. Yeah. I wish I could, but I'm gonna have to do it afterwards because I still got my podcast. I still need to recap. Yeah. I wouldn't eat with you right now. I wish I could. I'm sorry. I'll make it up. Anyways, this is where they showed the recap of his last title defenses. I wish I could. I still have my SNA podcast I still need to do. No, I gotta do this for my Bruchacho Al Cole no matter what. Go eat your food. I promise I'll be out there. Come on. Sorry. No, I can't. I gotta keep doing it. This is where Tony Schiavone that your frustration with Jay White. What you're not taking with Jay White right now? Oh, I love you too. Look. I have my nose right now, like that. All right, good. The triple B's that symbolize. Oh, you're such a sweetie. That symbolize all my hard work that I've been working for the past few years of achieving, and indicating of the support. I'm very sorry. Let's start. Right. I was wondering why he did it. Like because me and Jay are more alike. He's sick, really? Yeah. No, we don't like that. Unfortunately, Jay reminded me of a lot about myself in the past. Like the part of the demeanor that I despise. Like Jay White's very insecure. And Jay White stole that belt. Not to the brag about in the world, like champion material, that's top guy material. That he's trying to, he stole the title because he was trying to prove to himself. And that's, all right, back this for you, Jay White. You got never want the championship back. And the fact was like, is that I'm going to defeat you and slay you down and get my title back. You're like, and you are going to lose because nobody is on the level of the devil. And Tony Schiavone also said, like, on your way, after Full Gear, like, you're gonna be your longest reigning AEW World Champion. You can properly hold that championship when you defeat uh, uh, Jay White, in front of the title, and everything that. All right, there's a whole lot going on. If your likelihood at Full Gear, and you still be AEW World Champion, you like, I feel pride, and I feel also likelihood. Like, okay, like I talk like likelihood. You know, like my mother just gave birth to me. She gave me a spanking a diaphragm. Yeah, brand new spanking diaphragm. Sorry for eating in front of the camera. Like, it's dinner time. He's like, what's the likelihood that matters? Like, let's be honest. He's like, a simple mental disorder, like becoming a success story. He's like, but what's the likelihood of becoming the pro athlete? Like, yeah, what's the likelihood of being a professional wrestler? Like, and, they like explain like what is the likelihood of beating all these men and becoming AEW World Champion and starting from like at a young age and independent wrestling companies when other companies didn't want him. Like, what is the job? What's the life job being the reigning AEW World Champion? Yep. We can all agree, Tony, that we got all the likelihood, but the likelihood is what he said, like no AEW World Champion. Like, I think we all agree. Like with all them, it's slim to none. He's like, so he asked me, what's the likelihood about me beating Jay White and and the Guns that one night? And you're making it the 65 days as a world champion, like 365 days as AEW world champion. Like, you're reaching to your goal as being the greatest of all time, of holding that title for a whole year. I'll say slim to young. He was like, unfortunately, to Jay White, and only the detractor is going to be the likely of those odds. Which it goes, which the AEW not like collision went right away, and then it went right on to Rampage. And I'll say, before I get to the Rampage review, I would like to say I would give tonight's collision also a 4.5 stars. Not 4.5, no, 4 stars, and 4 stars and out of 5 stars. What do you thought about tonight's AEW collision and how you would rate it? Sound off in the comments. Up next, we got some AEW Rampage news. We should start off with Christian Cage against Trent Beretta. This one went face to face. I need to say to one another before they start fighting. They're like, Christian Cage like, oh, you think you're gonna beat me? Like, go up, kid. Like, I remember you used to have hair. Like, and then he's like, and I bet he probably said, hey, is your father dead by chance, if I can ask? And this is where Trent Beretta pushed him back. This is where he stepped back. He's like, oh, like, you think you're a big tough guy now? Like, I bet your mom was a widow. Like, And this is where they start grappling out. They start get mad at each other. This is where he start. This is where Christian Cage went. This was holding on to right onto the upper right corner where Trent Beretta. This is where he shoves him right around the neck. This is where Trent Beretta's like, I try to do this the nice way, but it looks like I'm gonna have to play this mean. This is where he snuck right from behind when he looked like about to do a hand war, but they did a back to belly maneuver. This is where he hit the elbow right on the Trent Beretta, but try to go for a spear outside. He was paying too much attention about Adam Copeland. He was worried about the match, so he ran right out when Trent Beretta went for a spear. Yeah, knock me back. Good. Anyway, this is where Christian Cage right back on the ring right after he missed Trent Beretta. This is where he kicked him right into the face. This is where he hits a right hand right into the head. It's like repeatedly stomping onto the body of poor Trent Beretta. This is where he tried to Irish whip him right to the lower part of the ring, but he gets. This is where he hits the double knees to the face onto what's the Christian Cage. He hits a diving crossbody right onto him, hitting some punches repeatedly. It was like he made me have no choice, and he throws him back in the ring. Like when Trent Beretta was like, "Make it personal, Christian. Now you're gonna ask for it." And this is where you try to use the referee as a distraction for both the referee and Trent Beretta to catch him off guard. This is where he tried to go for. This is where he snuck right behind the side of the referee. He hits him with a running shinning strike right into the head. This is where Christian Cage rams Trent Beretta right onto the bottom, not the bottom, the upper right, the upper left corner of the ring post. This is where Christian Cage started doing one of his arrogant poses like he usually would do during this match.
Get that off my bed over there. You go to bed.
Excuse me.
So you go eat.
This is where they start hitting right hand strikes right into the face on one another, respectively. This is where Trent Beretta put him right onto the upper right corner, hit the striking elbow and knee strike right into the head. This is where he tried to go for a tornado DDT, but he caught him right in the air. And it looks like Christian Cage is getting more old, because when he tried to do that dodging kick, like when what's his name? Trent Beretta tried to go for a running attack move. Christian Cage moved right out of the way. Hits a swinging kick up in the air, like with his shins hitting his face. Like but he had a hard time. He kind of botched it when he tried to pull his legs up, but it didn't work the first time. But he had to readjust them to do it the second time because he was guaranteed the second time. But even though it wasn't unsuccessful, it just botched a little bit. Because he is getting older. Here's where he tried to go for a tornado DDT to Trent Beretta, but he was not letting him hit the maneuver. He hit a striking, devastating chop right on the Christian Cage. This is where he got him. He tried to go up right on the top rope. This is where he started biting on the head, thinking he's Eddie Kingston and John Moxley. This is where he tried to go for a Frankenstein and Hurricane Rana, which he did so. And I'll say, before I done recapping this match, I want to say that this was the total number one match of the night of AEW Rampage side of things. This is where he only got a 2.999 count. Like Trent Beretta been doing this all night long. This is where he tried to go for a crossbody, but Christian Cage moved right out of the way. Like when he had him close into this match. This is where Christian Cage was getting ready to hit his former best friend's finishing move, which is the spears. Like, come on, I'm good. This is gonna be a preview of tomorrow night. I'm gonna do this to my good for nothing best friend, and this is where he gets knee strike back into reality. This is where Trent Beretta goes for a second attempt for a tornado DDT, and you know the rest. It's a guaranteed. Of course, this is where he tried to go for a pin, but the pin was not a guaranteed. It was a 2.9999999 triple double nines, like we're 0.1 away from being 3. This is where Trent Beretta was very disappointed. This is where Trent Beretta was getting ready to hit his, I believe, his secondary finishing maneuver. He got him with the knee strike. He made sure he landed him down. And then even Tony Schiavone said he could join his fellow best friends, like being singles gold, like Orange Cassidy's the international champion, and then Chris Statlander the TBS championship, even though they have to defend it tomorrow night. And we could see it, but we could see a possibility of a new champion of Trent Beretta becoming TNT champion. I was like, yeah. And not only that, this could be his first singles championship in All Elite Wrestling, and any champion of the matter overall. Which unfortunately that was not the case, but I would not have mind if at least I'll say 3/4 of the group have a singles championship gold. But Chuck Taylor would have felt left out, but he would probably eventually would have been single championship. Too bad it won't be at the same time as Cassidy, Beretta, and Statlander. This is where Christian Cage go for the unpretty there, which he called the kill switch, but this is where Trent Beretta hits his finishing move. The Strom Zero, which he did so, but he only got a 2.99999, like so close. And Kevin Kelly thought that was a 3. He was like, wow, well, it wasn't 3. He's like, count faster, you damn referee. And then this is where Christian Cage had Trent Beretta right into the top side corner, like with a reverse hot shot, hit him with a twisting neck, like neck twister, I should say, a stomping neck twist right onto his head and neck. Christian Cage did after he did the reverse hot shot onto the best friend member. This is where he Irish whipped him right to the lower left corner of Tina the turnbuckle. This is where he finally hits the kill switch, got the 1, 2, 3, still the TNT champion. Him celebrating, doing a pre-celebration before Full Gear, which I believe is going to be the team. It's going to be Team Adam Copeland and Sting and Darby Allin get the victory. But what y'all's prediction? I'm saying for the for real final last time before Full Gear. But we're gonna move on to the next segment, which was Tony Storm taking on Emmy Sakura. That's what her name is, Emmy Sakura. Which Tony Storm was doing, acting like her usual self as the Swedish opera singer in denial / 2020 actress. She's like, read, follow what's on the script, and if you do so, I'll take it easy on you. That's what she was telling the Emmy Sakura. She was like, oh, really? Like, you want me to play a part, like if this is some kind of a Broadway play. Well, you could take this, rip this up, and shove this all the way down your throat. And then this is where she starts stomping on her, like after Tony Storm was asking her, like, why would you do that for? And then this is where Emmy Sakura, Irish whipped her right into the. Dang it, my bad. This is where Tony Storm came back, started fighting, hitting chops and punches like repeatedly, hit a running bulldog off the top left corner. This is where Tony Storm hits her with a Popeye swinging European uppercut right onto Emi Sakura. This is where Tony Storm's like in the end of the grand finale. We all know this, the sweet cheek music, which she did try to do, but this is where she got intercepted with a tiger bomb like from Emi Sakura. This is where Aubrey Edwards counted the one, counted the two, but kicks out at the last second at 2.8 seconds. I think not exactly the final last second, but near there. This is where she tried to go a second time, but I was thinking let's hope that she's double lucky, but she was absolutely not double lucky because she did not decide to do the maneuver because she hit a double underhook backbreaker onto Tony Storm. She thought that was going to be it, but Tony Storm instantly kicks out at 2.9. This is where Emi Sakura put her foot right onto the side of the hand, right onto Tony Storm. And oh, by the way, before I finish the rest, I wanted to also point out that this was Tony Storm was calling, but she asked her butler Luther to book her in the match to do a warm-up match against before she faces Hikaru Shida tomorrow night. Well, she said it this past Wednesday, which Luther went to Tony Khan to ask for one, which was scheduled to be Emi Sakura, but because she was because like after seeing her number one fan who was inspired of joining Stardom, which was what's her name? Mariah May. That's what her name is, Mariah May, which she's a newcomer in AEW. And it looks like we're going to be probably seeing a similar story, seeing a storyline similar to a classical movie, like with a young female being a fan of a very famous older actress and she took her place, which we're probably going to see this happening with Mariah May and Tony Storm. But anyway, this is where Emi Sakura tried to go for a moonsault right onto to Tony Storm, and this is where she moves out of the way. Tony Storm finally got a guarantee. Finally did the running hip attack, which was a guaranteed the second. But this is where she said lights, camera, like the colors turned into black and white, which they did so. She hits a running hip attack, and turn it back to color. This is where she hits the Storm Zero pile driver for the 1, 2, 3, and this was definitely a warm up match, but I'm not sure if she will exactly win the AEW Women's World Championship. It kind of depends, but we're gonna see what's exactly gonna happen when AEW Full Gear comes to us. But anyways, this is where we got a backstage interview with Renee Paquette, with face-to-face with Jay Lethal and Eddie Kingston, because their match has been scheduled in. I was like, okay, this is probably a good idea in a way, because they need more matches they need more matches in the pay-per-view, and two, it wouldn't be more perfect to have a match like this with the latest Ring of Honor World Champion taking on the Ring of Honor, the former Ring of Honor World Champion, who made it very prestigious when he was the champion. And he was like, tomorrow night and 0 hour, Eddie Kingston against Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Ever since you lost that mid street fight to my uncle Jeff Jarrett, it gave me that shot for the Ring of Honor World Champion. Ain't that a blessing? And he's like, if you did nothing but duck and hide from us, for every corner that you run from us. And this is where Eddie Kingston's like, what, excuse me? Like, you're saying I'm the one ducking and hiding from you? Like, oh, you got that right? I'm ducking out. And then this is where Sanjay Dutt was like, yeah, that's all you do. You all duck and hide. And then Eddie Kingston's like, and he's like, you know me. We've known each other for over 15 years. Like, why are you speaking like these two these hillbillies. Like that's what he's describing them to Jeff Jarrett and them. He's like, but look at me in my eyes, and he's like, "There's something I can do, and I know what I can do. Like I done it before. You know that. Like look at me careful. Look at me in the eyes. Like wait for." I'm looking at mine to understand something from me. You're becoming a coward just like them, and then like a hypocritical coward like them, like to be exact. And he's like, and then this is where Jeff Jarrett's like I know there's no physicality because it was the symbol. In your hands? Okay, I'll give you some wipes. But anyways, yeah, this is where Jeff. This is where there's like if it's got, but I'm ready to fight you right now. And this is where Kevin Jarrett and Karen, Jeff and Karen Jarrett was like, no, you won't, no, you won't. And then this is where she was telling Eddie Kingston, like, you step back to Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's like yeah, like keep on running away, but you're not gonna. No, Trey, you cannot be doing this right now on the SNA podcast. But it's like, yeah, you forget them. This is where he turns around. Here you go, but no whacking. If you know what, I'm putting it away. I'm not playing. No testing. No. Why are you pointing at your Uncle Julian with the bat like if you're Sting? Okay. I'll take him. Come on, Trey. Hello? I don't know. And she's in the kitchen right now putting away the lettuce in the refrigerator. And she served yeah, we already ate. Yeah, yes, Joe. Okay. I'm trying to get his pull-up changed, but he did not want to get his pull-up changed. So, you can play with your bat. Just afterwards. He's playing with his bat, trying to swing it around for some reason. Yeah, I know, right?
One is that ding 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 ding. What that's ding 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 ding. Everything zing 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 zing.
All right, bet that. You see you again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you here. Okay, I need to hurry up. I'll be there. Okay. Anyways, back to the video. Let's see. Come on. Come on. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the main event match before the. I would say main event, perhaps just the match. I'll say the match right before the end of the show, which was Action Andretti against Roderick Strong, still going into the wheelchair with the neck brace. But when he gets in the ring, he takes it right off. And why did this for? Yeah, this is where Action Andretti went for a shoulder block, hit a kip up, like making it known that he's ready, or more than just ready against the former Undisputed Era member. This is where they start fighting with Action Andretti doing most of the fighting. This is where he took off his vest after he did that missile drop. I mean, not missile drop, a shoulder tackle. This is where he hits a running knife edge chop right onto Roderick Strong. This is where Roderick Strong hits a boot strike right into the face. This is where he already hitting a forearm and then a strike. This is where he put him back on there. He's like, no, I'm not done with you yet. And he started hitting him with a ramming shoulder to the midsection repeatedly. This is where and then Roderick Strong kicks him right in the midsection. Hit a slide swiping kick right up in the chest. This is where he has a right hand knuckle right onto the face. This is where Roderick Strong picks up what's his name? The Action Andretti. Hit him with a sidewalk backbreaker. This is where Roderick Strong hitting right hands and rubbing his face right into the right corner of the ring. This is where referee was like, and then this is where the referee's like, all right, that's enough for 1, 2. And this is where he gets off of him, impressively. Tony Schiavone, excuse me. But anyway, this is where Tony Schiavone was like, he knows he's not supposed to be down here in the damn wheelchair. He knows that he's a carny. I agree. He did not really need to do this. Even though he's trying to look very relevant and also that's the point of making him annoying. It's just not right, genuinely. They're doing a really good job, making the fans not really like this guy in this gimmick. This is where Action Andretti luckily came back into the match. This is where hitting them with a running Hurricane Rana. This is where he tried to go. This is where he tried to go for a fireman's carry. I was like, hopefully the Assassin Valley Driver. But this is where he gets hit with a botching sidewalk slam turned to a roll-up, which was the most horrendous thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling history. This is where Roderick Strong tried to go for a power bomb, but this is where what's his name? Action Andretti counters into a body drop. This is where Roderick Strong still was hanging on into a sunset flip. This is where Action Andretti spins around out of the sunset flip, goes for a suplex, picking him up and turn it to a Falcon Arrow. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but he only got a 2.2 count. This is where he rolls out of the ring. This is where he got tricked into this. This is where Action Andretti got tricked in his trap, because this is where he tried to grab on, tried to see where he was at, but he surprised him by just grabbing him and throwing him right to barricade. That's what but Mike Bennett was like, yeah, that's what you get for trying to think you could step up to the kingdom. This is where Roderick Strong got up in a headlock back in the ring. This is where he thought he had him won. This is where This is where Action Andretti knocks him down, takes him out of the ring, hit the sliding double kick on both Matt Taven and Mike Bennett of the Kingdom. And this is where Action Andretti is like that's right, I'm back in the game. This is where he tried to go for a running hurricane runner, but Roger Strong flips him over right onto the left side of the apron. This is where he hits him with a super kick right into the head. This is where he hits a springboard leg sweeping moonsault right off the side, throws through the Action Andretti, pins. This is where it looks like Roddy's neck does not look good when he tried to go for the pin. This is where referee's like, oh no, come on, we need some backup here. Like we need referees, we need a couple of referees and paramedics right here. This is where they start checking on him, like with Doc Simpson looking at, and it showed that he was okay. Just getting. Probably just a bruise, like nothing more than that. Like this is where Roger Strong went right to the lower left corner. This is where Action Andretti went to try to get him out of the corner. This is where he gets speared right into the midsection. This is where Roderick Strong tried to go for a that little like a white noise slam, but this is where Action Andretti tried to go for the sunset flip, but he gets pinned over by him and into a 2.99999999999 with a negative 0.1 seconds. This is where Action Andretti went right up and tried to go for a splash right on Roderick Strong. This is where he flips him right over. But this is where he gets him with a step up into Giri. This is where he tried to go for a spring. 1 second, Trey. I'm gonna be right there. This is where Action Andretti tried to go for a springboard crossbody, but get intercepted with a knee strike. He got the 1, 2, 3 afterwards, and this is where he started looking like he got hit by kryptonite when the match was over. He's like, I need my neck, a neck brace. I need my neck brace, which he got into his neck brace. He went out. No, Trey, I'm coming. Yeah, I'm coming. Here you go. But I'm back, yeah. Had to fix a little minor something for my nephew. But anyways, this was like, still got it. I'm next strong. Yeah. Like, come on, let's go. Like, let's celebrate. But this is where we got a backstage interview with Renee Paquette, because at the end of Collision, what's his name? Tony Schiavone was interviewing MJF because she was going to interview on Rampage with Jay White, which MJF poked fun of it, saying like, was Renee too busy? Like, which she was. She did a sit-down interview with you. He was like, here's an opportunity for at Full Gear for to rightfully become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And he's like, a lot's been going on for the last few months. Like, specifically the Devil. Like, first showing up attacking you, recently attacking the Acclaim as well. MJF has no involvement at this point that he claims. Who do you think the Devil is? And are you concerned whether they can get involved on their match tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, that's absolutely $1 million question. Like who's the Devil? But and he was like, and in my opinion, I believe MJF is the Devil. I was like, you said that's $1 million question, like, but you thinking it's MJF. Like, how do you know if it's MJF? Like, if he haven't revealed himself, or even let alone like revealed himself to be the Devil guy in the Devil mask, and every time he attacks somebody, MJF happens to be in a wrestling match. Like, he has an alibi. Like, but he's still not convinced. He's like, and he was like, but it doesn't matter what the Devil mask and his crew, whoever is under that mask, like me and my Bang Bang Gang crew will be ready, and he's not gonna make it to me for AEW because I'm gonna dismantle him. And he was like, also, I'll ask you this real quickly, like a lot of people, like between yourself and MJF and your respective careers, like. And this is where Jay White was like, no, let me cut you off right there. Like, He's like, that's MJF himself. Like, he's been brainwashing like everybody else. Like, he's brainwashing the crowd right there. And being the real AEW champion, I was like, I don't think he has to brainwash the fans because the fans our fans are getting are over with him because he's very entertaining and phenomenal with this reign as AEW champion, and showing that he can be a fighting champion and be a one of the legendary champions into the All Elite Wrestling's championship lineage. But yeah, like I don't think he has to do that just to get the fans to watch him and be entertained by him. But anyways, he's trying to think that the MJF, his name should be should be in the same plate as the same plate with the name Jay White, and it never will be. And he's like, I'm telling you, this right here in the camera, like this like when as soon as it's tomorrow night, like when it's between you and me, I'm gonna show you like everybody that fool, and I'm gonna prove everybody, all your scumbag fans, like that I'm the better man, and I am nothing like the salt of the earth. And this is where Renee Paquette is like, okay, like if or when like you win the AEW championship and be officially the champion, like what was the switchblade would look like you in the future? Like if things goes my way, like if goes things my way, like what do you mean, like Renee? Like the Bang Bang Gang, like it's gonna, like, it got this. Like you should say it with me, Renee. And she was like, no, thanks, I'm good. I was like, yeah, I agree with Renee Paquette because if John Moxley catcher saying that with you, like he would not like that. Like he would basically beat the life out of you, Jay White. So if I was you, I would not be asking Renee Paquette that question. I was like you probably wouldn't make it the full gear if John Moxley catch this interview, but luckily it was MJF that beat John Moxley to it, but before he can even make it to the arena because he spared him right off the chair, hit him face first right to the equipment box. I can charge this, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is where he started beating him all around the backstage area. This is where he nearly stomped him through this hallway wall, but he moved right in the inch of a second. But he didn't feel anything, no pain, because he was wearing those good boots that keep your legs very safe. This is where Juice Robinson went right behind and attacked him from behind. He was like, yeah, come on, let's beat him down, baby. And then he took him to the room. But everything, the tables has turned because MJF hits him with this monitor TV that the wrestlers watch when they're backstage in the locker room when they're watching a wrestling match in the ring. This is where he nearly threw it to Jay White, but he moved right on time, like before he got a chance to hit. This is where MJF started chasing him into the ring arena. This is where the Guns try to go and try to attack MJF, but MJF was beating two of these guys at once, like and throwing Austin Gunn back outside. This is where he did the same with his brother Colton. This is where he starts stomping the absolute sugar honey iced tea out of Jay White, like making it known that this is going to be a preview. This is only a preview for tomorrow night at AEW Full Gear. And then this is where he grabs onto the AEW championship. It's Triple B that he was stolen from him by Jay White. Like this is where he's like I'm glad to see you back, baby. Like, yeah, like now I'm gonna get my retribution once and for all before Full Gear comes upon us. And this is where he tried to go for a hit, trying to get some revenge. Maybe perhaps too early. Like perhaps this is too early to do this. This is where.
Hey, what is this shit over my door? Those are the neighbor's door. Hey, they don't have this one that door.
And then this is where the Guns went from behind and finally brought the Salt of the Earth down, like because just by 1 second of having his back turned, because like he shouldn't have worried about hitting him with the championship until tomorrow night.
Well,
but
I'm about to go to a priest tomorrow and ask him
This is where they got him outnumbered in a 3-on-1 situation. This is where finally someone saved the salt of the earth, which was the Samoan submission machine himself, Samoa Joe. He scared him off. I was like, I knew this was gonna happen sooner or later. Whether if it was gonna be the go home show of tonight's Rampage or Collision, or even tomorrow on AEW Full Gear. But yeah, Samoa Joe's like, yeah, you think you can beat him all by himself and trying to. This is where Samoa Joe's like, yeah, you think you can beat him all? Well, how about you pick on somebody your own size, or pick on somebody that's even the odds? That's what I would say. That's what he was saying. Like, how about you pick on somebody that's fair, that has a fair number? But I won't say fair number because it still was 2-on-3. But it is fair for tomorrow because MJF still has to defend the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, which will be at the 0 hour of AEW Full Gear. And what do you think about Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe finally being MJF's tag partner. Sound off in the comments below. This is where Samoa Joe went right up to MJF. He was like, "Now you accept me now. Like are gonna accept me as your tag team." This is where he was like, all right, like only because that you helped me out here, like, and you could have did nothing about it, but you were here like no matter what, like you earned my respect, like back. And this is where Samoa Joe's like, yeah, no problem. Like, it's the least what I could do until we get our next match for the All Elite Wrestling World Championship. In which they're like, yeah, like, and then when MJF finally shook his hands, everybody was cheering, like, yeah, like we're gonna see them team. And this is where Samoa Joe's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we're gonna be effing them up. Like, that's what they was looking like. This is where the Guns and Jay White's like, no matter, I'm still gonna be a Triple B champion, and my boys, the Guns, are still gonna be Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Which I'm not sure if they're gonna win the Tag Team Championships, at least not this time when Full Gear has come to us. And then this is what AEW Rampage ended. Also with Chris Jericho sending a message to the Young Bucks saying, yeah, listen, you two kids, me and Omega, the two greatest stars in professional wrestling, like the Golden Jets, are going to beat you tomorrow night and take away your number one contender spot as AEW Tag Team Champions. But yeah, that's how AEW ended. The AEW Rampage ended, and I would say I would give AEW Rampage a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And how would y'all rate AEW Rampage if y'all were reviewing it? And also, what you thought about it overall? I'll say I think it was very good. Like it was something to watch. Like before the big show of November, which will be AEW Collision. Not Collision. That's a Collision. It already came on. I mean AEW Full Gear, which I say Full Gear. Something that Eddie Kingston will know about, even though he's not going to face the guy that he challenged by saying that back a couple of years ago, because he obviously got released back in September. He's possibly going to be making his debut like a week from tomorrow, but I'm not going to get into more details unless it's the wrestling news. Speaking of which, make sure y'all check out my wrestling news video, which will be tomorrow afternoon. It will be the wrestling news part 44, episode 131. But yeah, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you comment down below on what you think, and subscribe, click the bell notifications, and share it with your friends all over the social web. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the 130th episode of the SNA podcast, which is the AEW Collision / Rampage review, part 14. This is the first time I did both at the same time in one night. Like, this is the ultimate edition, I should say, the ultimate review of both Dynamite and Collision. And 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 what did and what then yeah and I will and yeah and I'm gonna I would say and I hope you guys enjoyed my recaps of AEW Collision, and make sure y'all check out my previous video I just made, which is the SmackDown review, episode 129, part 14 of the SmackDown review. But yeah, I hope y'all have a great night for the rest of y'all night, and I'll see you all tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say, for the wrestling news video. And I would make an AEW Full Gear review, but I just I don't know how I'm gonna watch the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, because all the pay-per-views, including Bleacher Report, you have to pay like $50 or even $60 for the pay-per-view. But I mean, unless if I come up with that kind of money, I would gladly order the pay-per-view and watch it and even make a review. But it'll probably a later notice. I'll probably do a later note if anything change my mind, and like if something comes through. But until then, I'll probably do a recap of what happened to AEW Full Gear when Dynamite comes around this coming Wednesday. But until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out. Good night, my SNA fans. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.